explanation just to make you understand that tomorrow when I put it in one place, so it becomes easy for you. Okay, we have discussed central tendency, we have discussed mean, median, mode, we have discussed dispersion, that has variability from a range, mean, quartile deviation, that stuff we have discussed. Range is a difference between the highest and the lowest score. The quartile deviation, it is a direct measure of a variable. Say for example, you have measured a standard deviation of a, you have measured a weight of a 10 employees. Okay, weight. So you, when you see what is standard deviation of this employees, maybe 3 kg or maybe 4 kg, that is called as standard deviation. Now what happens, you measure weight and the height. Okay, now you see what is the variations between the weight and height. So you use variance. When you convert that into absolute terms, you will be using variance. That is only the difference. So now we will start about measures, that is your data. So I already discussed percentile, that is 25 percentile, 50, 75 percentile. Percentile, you know that. I will give you one very simple example. Your CAT exam, it doesn't use percentage, it uses percentile. Say for example, they take just an example, most of you know that, just to reiterate, they will take 100 students who have attended the examination. They will take the highest person who scored the marks. Say for example, this fellow has scored 97. 97 percentage, the top 1 percentage become 100 percentile. So relatively all others will be ranked. That is a common usage of percentile rank that we come across. Then Z score, T score. There is a common understanding of Z score we use when there is a high level of samples. So whenever the sample size increases more than 30, we use Z score. Whenever the sample size is very small, we use T score. There is not much difference between a Z score and a T score when it comes to the SPSS or when it comes to the any kind of analysis that we will be doing. It uses more or less same formula. When it comes to the analysis part using the tools, don't get confused with this Z score or a T score, right? So T score, generally it is used for all the variables. Even if the sample size is around 200 also, you can comfortably go ahead and use T score. Right, so Z score and a T score, small variations that you find. Comes two kinds of tests that we will be doing it. One is parametric test and the other one is non-parametric test. This is something to do with your normal distribution curve. If your data follows a normal distribution, then it is a parametric test. Okay, you have a two end, there is a mean in the middle, you have the data that is equally distributed on both the sides, right hand and left side. So then it is called as a parametric test. Parametric test is the data that follows a normal distribution curve. On the other hand, many data will not follow a normal distribution curve. You cannot bring that into a normal distribution curve. In spite of that, you want to apply for some kind of test on those data, that is called as non-parametric test. The one example for a non-parametric test is a Wilcoxon test, and there are some ad hoc tests that you will be doing after the ANOVA. So these are all non-parametric tests. See, for every parametric test, there is a similar parallel non-parametric test that you will be doing. These are the discuss. I have discussed this particular slide. Did I make a decision? Say for example, take an example of this. I want to terminate 10% of the employee. This is my decision. There's something called human capital measurement system track. Okay. So what is this human capital measurement system track? What it does is, it directly correlate and gives a logical connection between your HR measures and a business plan. It tells you that, see, this is what my capital is, this is what your profit is. What it does is, this particular analytics HR measurements will give you a logical framework for your powerful decision. This logical framework it provides, what it does is it connects your money and your customers. It tells that you have 100 people, they have produced 50 crores of a business. Okay, so earlier there are 150 people who produced 150 crores of business. So somewhere when you link this logical connection, the management will get convinced. What impresses the management most, your leadership most? Tell me, what impressed them most? Let's look at the business framework, how HR is parallelly compared with the other functions such as finance. When you talk about the finance, you will talk about the equity, assets, sales, and the profit. Say, for example, you say equity, let us how I leverage my activities, the asset productivity, the margin, the profit. When you look at the marketing, you will talk about my investments and advertisements. So, how I use my 4Ps, how I segment my market, my customer value proposition. So what is the lifetime of profit? So that is a marketing concept. When you come to your domain, you will be talking about these. So you talk about these measurements. What are your measurements? Measurements are efficiency. So to what extent they're effective, your programs and your practices, are they effective or not? So then you talk about the organization and talent, what impact they have on your sustainable strategic success. In the sense, when I say efficiency, we will be talking more about cost optimization. Some of you are telling cost optimization, you're talking about the return on investment, you're talking about your efficiency. Whereas your effectiveness, you have a program. These programs are giving the intended result or not. That's what you are trying to do. See, why I'm focusing on all these things, a theoretical part of that. You might be wondering why sir is talking about all these things. Very simple. When I give you a task of developing a model, say for example, there is one model that we are trying to develop for a company. The model is this company doesn't have an attrition rate. Okay, they have a zero attrition rate because this company is operating somewhat like your public sector organization. Okay, I don't want to name the company. They don't have a attrition, but the problem is they have employees who are settled very well. Okay, so they want to get more results. Say for example, if a company sets a ambitious project, the manpower, the people do not have a capability to meet those stretched target. Organization is ultimately accountable for improving talent decisions. You need to enhance this talent decisions. So whatever the money that you spend on a people must be made maximum use out of it. It is more holistic in perspective on a measurement. Measurements, they do not cover only one part of it. They cover overall part of that, overall part of your organization. It's not an operation done in a bits and pieces. It is an overall holistic approach that you are following. Human capital measures are very valuable for decisions that affect your talents. Okay, that's how you connect your measures to the organization effectiveness. Say for example, I give a very simple example. You have a compensation plan for this year in your company. So this compensation plan, 15% is the rise that you are giving for your employees. Okay, you will start coming down 10 to 15 percentage you will set. For a low performance, you may give an increment of 8 percentage. Okay, this is your compensation strategy for this year. Now what happens, you will go for a HR measures, then you will compare that with this compensation strategy. That's how you link your measures with the organization effectiveness. Okay.